What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Teach Henley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Teach Henley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Teach Henley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Teach Henley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on, family? How y'all doing today? I see you, Shadow Dragon TV. What up to the bag chasers? Jason A-Team says, let's get it. Good morning to Anton and to all of the common sense thinkers in the chat, says Ben Allmark. Chris Mayberry says San Antonio. I did pick a place to go, so we got to do that with housekeeping. I'll let y'all know exactly where it is that I'm going. There's no point in doing a competition because I already kind of talked about it, but I'll sweeten the stakes for you tomorrow. Your car says one word, Anton. How you feeling? Productive. Very, very, very productive. The next live stream that we do on Patreon, which will be Sunday. Let's do Sunday. Sunday evening. Sunday evening about 7 to 8 p.m. I need to check my calendar exactly what time I get back. Let's do Sunday because I got to show y'all some stuff. I seriously have to show y'all some stuff. I've unlocked something that generates so much revenue. So much revenue. I have to show y'all. I got to get y'all the inside scoop and the updates on what's going on. If y'all not a part of the Pack Chasers, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Solution Trucking Channel says, I bet she will. I bet she won't. I bet she won't. I bet she will. Did y'all check the last night's live stream? If y'all don't be on Monday night's live streams or tuning in tonight for after hours, y'all seriously missing it. Y'all are seriously missing it. I ain't do nothing to the Carsons. I just did content like I always do content. Man, look, let me tell you something. I am way more tame than I used to be. Way more tame than I used to be. I used to be something different on the internet. Nowadays, I'm pretty respectful. I like to say I'm pretty respectful. I just look at it as content. We have fun and we keep it moving. I can't help if other people lose sleep over the things that we talk about from a content perspective. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. Look, let me tell you something, all right? And then we're gonna get into the housekeeping because I got some announcements I gotta make, and I gotta make sure that everybody is informed. I wanted a few more people to get in before I started to make my announcements. And I know they watching right now, so shout out to y'all. All right, so let me just tell y'all something. Number one, um, for me, it's all content creation. I don't lose no sleep over it one way or another. People send me stuff about different people mentioning me all the time. And then I go and research them. Like somebody sent me a video yesterday of somebody that said something about me. And I went and researched them. And I was thinking to myself, I didn't surpass these people so far. Because I'm always looking for some good engagement, right? I'm always looking for to go back and forth and spar with somebody and see what they're talking about. And maybe it'll lead to a debate or something like that. But then I went and researched them and I was looking at, you know what I'm saying, their overall, like, did they hit a ceiling? Are they still growing? Are they at the same level? And I've surpassed them so far at this point that it ain't even no point in going back and forth. And so I said, no need in even interacting with that. You know what I'm saying? Because if it ain't about no content, if it ain't about running up a bag, then what we doing? You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of let that be. I let it go. I'm not even interested in it. I was thinking about it, but then when I seen that just on one of my channels that the numbers was double what they did, no point in entertaining that. You know what I'm saying? So you got it don't benefit me. You know what I'm saying? It's not conducive for any, like, it wouldn't benefit me at all. So you just kind of let them talk and promote you and then you keep it moving. So that's one side. The other side, when it comes to like last night, because for those of you that may not be familiar, a man made his girl get off the panel last night because it was getting a little heated in there, right? Now, remember this, and I want y'all to really take this into consideration, and we're going to get into housekeeping and we're going to keep it moving. All right? You know what I'm saying, Keisha? Remember this. Like the girl last night, I think her name was Ty, right? Cute girl, pretty. I feel like she's a chameleon, and I think that came out last night. But that's neither near. That has nothing to do with what I'm about to say right now. I am non-discriminate, right? I don't care if you black. I don't care if you white. I don't care if you're a man. I don't care if you're a woman. When you jump on my panels, right, or when you decide that you want to engage, if you consider yourself a content creator, I am going to address you as such. Anything that I say is on, it's not off limits. You can come at me, you can say what you want. I don't kick people off my panels. I don't do none of that stuff, right? So when you come at me, or if you decide that you want to debate me or come at me or whatever, cool, I'm with it. I'm not going to put on kid gloves because you're a woman. Let me say it again for the people in the back. I'm not going to put on kid gloves because you're a woman. I'll give you an example. I address at large women. I said they all going and they all for a price. A simp in the background decided to get upset because he thought that it was directed at his girl. It's directed at all women culturally. Now, are there some anomalies? Of course there are some anomalies. Pink Pill, for example, didn't take offense to it. I got on Pink Pill's ass last night about a lot of stuff, and she just was like, oh, okay, cool. Didn't trip, didn't get out of pocket or nothing. So she understood where her superpower was, right? Other people got a little bit more bothered in the inside. Maybe it's a better way to explain this for y'all to understand. The reason that I kicked my girl off of my platforms and don't allow for her to even really be visible really at all is because she's not a content creator. She's a civilian. You know what I'm saying? She's not a content creator. Now, if she was to get on a panel or if she was to get on the internet, which you have to choose, pick and choose whether or not you really want to be a part of this game or not. If she was to get on a panel and say some crazy stuff, right? Let's say she was to go off or get offended or somebody call her a chameleon because she's a content creator. She would have to take that L. And I would have to take that L for allowing for her to get on a platform. Because at that point, she would be a content creator. I made the decision very, very early in my journey as a content creator that she not a part of this. I don't want my daughter creating content. I don't want none of that, because then they open themselves up for criticism, which is valid as a content creator. If your girl decide that she wants to get on a platform, or she wants to jump on my platform, or she wants to go and create content, you can't save her. Provision and protection from a man's perspective is also proactive, meaning that if you don't want her to get criticized, then you shouldn't have her on here in the first place. Now, if she decided to be on there, which every other woman just understood the game, and they know that if they come on, that it could go one way or the other, and they willing to deal with whatever it is that comes along with it, then they rock with it. You can't talk from the background and save her from me. I don't think you that tough. Like, I don't care about what you think. I am not going to switch up and change and do it differently because it's your girl. If you didn't want her, what did anybody think that my brand was any different? Have I been any different? As a matter of fact, I've gotten nicer. Have I been any different than I've been for years? I've been in this content game for years. If you don't want her to be a part of the game, or you think that her brand is going to get messed up because you didn't coach her through her femininity classes, then that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. Jesse says, what if your daughter wants to create content as an adult and she has the talent to do so? Why do everybody always ask me about my daughter as an example? What does that have to do with anything? The reality is that if a person decides that they want to create content, then they open themselves up for criticism. I think that there's a line. I think that you leave wives and children off of it unless the wife or the child, when they become adult, not when they're a child, but when they become an adult, if they decide that they want to do content, then that means that they open themselves up for criticism. People don't have to agree with you. I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? People in my chat right now, it's somebody that's trying to get my attention right now. People in my chat criticize me all the time. I laugh unless they cross the line and they start getting disrespectful to my daughter or something like that or whatever. I take it on the chin. It's a part of content. I tell people that's in the chat, don't don't censor people. Listen, when they comment in the chat, it gets me more popping. The algorithm says push his content out to more people because they active in there. They getting active in there. The more comments or whatever, I don't care. These people don't be having no profile pictures. I had one guy that used to troll and used to always try to get my attention. He asked for a coaching call. He didn't even have enough money. He had to piecemeal it together. It was like $15, $25, and then he sent me 30. I just sent him a refund. I said, man, get on out of here. Go, bro, go ahead and get you some McDonald's and call it a day. It all worked. Likes and dislikes, they all are valued the same. It means that it's engagement. So I value it. I think that it's beautiful. I'm rocking with it. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. But again, y'all got to understand that when you get in this game, don't nobody owe you an explanation. Nobody owes you an explanation. Rock out. Rock out. Who kids that I disrespect, Swim? You disrespect people's kids and call them out of their name all the time. Who kids that I disrespect? Hold me accountable. While Swimlock comes up with who kids I disrespected, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. So first and foremost, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. We're going to live stream this weekend because I got to show y'all some numbers. I got to show y'all some money. On top of that, we doing after hours tonight, so that's going to be popping. I also got a question for the chat. Make sure that I acknowledge the super chats and the cash apps. Did Swimlock say whose kids are disrespected? No. So he just saying stuff. Okay. Oh, you selling black people out for content. Mm. So he just talking. All right, that's cool. He just talking. All right, cool. When you speak truth about black culture, I don't understand, but anyways. All right, let me go ahead and acknowledge some of these cash apps and these super chats to start off the show. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of housekeeping. Well, let's do the housekeeping right now. All right. So I know he just talking. Terrible People podcast. People just be talking. They be wanting my attention. So I am going out of town tomorrow. And the time of my flight, it's only one direct flight. The time of my flight is during the time of the show. So let me ask y'all, what do y'all want? Do y'all want me? Because somebody suggested to me yesterday that I do an afternoon show or evening show or whatever on the Millionaire Morning Show since I don't live stream on Wednesdays. And I said, I don't know about that. I'm not really feeling that. That don't really make sense to me, but let me ask the chat. Would you guys, I think that I'm going to do a pre-recorded show. And that way, you know what I'm saying? We be watching it together while I'm on a plane because my plane got Wi-Fi. Somebody else suggested that I do an afternoon show. What do you guys think? What do you want me to do? Pre-recorded. That way we stick to the schedule and we rocking out. I'm not feeling the afternoon either, Keisha. Rock said afternoon show. Give us another Saturday show. Okay, so you saying so somebody is saying pre-record, morning show, and Saturday show. Somebody's saying just make up for it on Saturday. Live is better. You prefer I do a live, pre-record, do a 6 a.m. show? No, I can't do a 6 a.m. show because I got an 8:30 flight. And my flight is for 4 hours, so that don't even work. Pre-recorded afternoon. Dang, it's kind of mixed. All right. I'll probably do a pre-record, but I see it kind of mixed, so I have to figure that out later. Y'all not giving me no definitive answer. I will listen to you wherever, whenever. You see, we saying afternoon. Some people saying afternoon. Some people saying pre-record. Y'all want me to do it? I don't know. I'll figure it out. I might do an afternoon show because I almost got this feeling like if I do it pre-recorded, then it's gonna take me a lot more energy to work today. If I do an afternoon show, then I think it'll be a lot easier. I think I might live stream just in the afternoon. Do a poll? All right, let's do a poll. And then we'll get started with the show. Let's do a poll. Wait a second. Let's find out. Let's see what the people are saying. All right, the poll is up. Let me know what y'all think. So I'm gonna leave the poll up for like 5 minutes. Let me go ahead and read some of these cash apps and super chats, and then we'll go from there. Said pre-recorded, don't gamble on the Wi-Fi. Tell me about it. I meant to order a Wi-Fi too. I want to give a shout out to Mike That Dude. Thank you, Mike That Dude, for holding me down, big dog. You always hold me down. I also want to give a shout out to Spencer Campbell. Thank you, Spencer Campbell, for hitting me off and say good morning. Jamaica, shout out to Jamaica. Says send me the Amazon link for the shirts. All right, I got you. I got your email. I seen that yesterday also. Kalisha Green says, good morning, Anton. Blessings to you. Ryan Clark, first child. Mother is white. Somebody confirm that for me. He is the biggest simp on TV, lives to race bait. Watching the pivot is hard. No, tell me that, Kalisha. Somebody confirm that for me in the chat. Is his first baby mama white? And he not even married to a black woman? He was like, oh, no, she won't. That's a fact. He sure did. Somebody confirm that for me. Somebody confirm that for me. Is Ryan Clark's baby mama white? Nah. Classy Beat says, live AD, we need to send super chats. All right, so we're going to do, all right, so this is what we'll do. We'll make the adjustment. Hold on. Let me check the poll real quick. All right, the poll was saying 75% afternoon. All right, so we're going to do an afternoon live stream tomorrow. I don't know the time exactly, so y'all going to have to stay tuned in. The people spoke. They said they want an afternoon live stream, so that's what we're going to do. So shout out to the chat. I give the people what they want, all right? So the evening show tomorrow, I need to see what time my flight is going to be. I need to pick up a Wi-Fi from somewhere. Man, where's my Flight Delta app for this phone? There it is. See, my flight is... No, it's not going to be that early. It's not going to be that early. I don't know what time I land. I think my flight is like 4 hours. Okay, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 42. Maybe I can get it done. I'm going to get it somewhere between 4 and 8 p.m. All right, Eastern. Sometime between 4 and 8 p.m. Eastern is when we're going to do the show. So after I check into my hotel, after I get settled, then I'm going to go ahead and get it set up, and then we're going to go ahead and knock out the live stream. Should be about 2.5 hours, and we're going to rock out with our cock out, all right? Probably rock closer to around 4 p.m., 4 or 5 p.m., knock it out, and then we get it popping. Sounds good. I think that works. All right? Ryan Clark's daughter is mixed? Seriously? Oh, dog. All right, yeah, we gonna get there. We gonna get there, dude. We gonna get there. We gonna discuss it today. All right, y'all. Let me read one more super chat. His baby mama is white. Really? Oh. And let me be clear. I'm not even against him having a mixed family or having children that with a white. I don't care who you with, but you can't be calling somebody else out on race when you out here having baby mamas that ain't even of the same race of the women that you caping for. We gonna get there. See, let me tell you something, Kia. I see people in the chat on a regular basis. Rock out with our cock out name is Av. I see people on a regular basis. And see, this is why I don't respond to people. Let me tell you something. People sit there and they criticize me for holding the community accountable. I'm not even going to talk about what I do for the community no more. I'm not going to talk about how many black people I got hired. Y'all don't even marry the same women that y'all say that y'all simping for. Y'all don't marry them. Y'all keep them out of wedlock. You don't pay your child support. You dusty, and then y'all go and be busting down. It be the main ones that got passports going to chase chicks that don't even look like them. That had the most to say. They'll call you out of your name, which is untrue. They'll call you a tether. They'll say you a sellout. So is a sellout a person based off of what they say holding people accountable that don't agree with you? Or is a sellout a person that's hypocritical about who they sleep with, who they make baby mamas, who they have children out of wedlock with, who they leave dusty and disgusted, and who they then choose to be with that is more a reflection of the thing that they say that they advocate against? Because y'all don't have no standard of what it takes to actually be a part of a pro-black community. All of these people is fake, bro. They fake. The minute that I see a dude in the chat talking stuff, the first thing I want to do is I want to see where your marriage license is. I want to see who you married to. I want to see, are you a reflection of the people that you advocate for? Because you'll go down this person's Instagram and they'll be talking mad stuff, baby mamas, hate women, talking stuff, incels, prefer white women, passport bros, don't even rock with you, talking to lady boys. Half the time they be gay, down low, and then they talk so much stuff. I get dog. I don't. That's why I don't have no respect for these people. I don't pay them no mind. Non-tax paying welfare recipients, PPP loan having, robbing the community, smoking crack, on Fenty, in your mama's basement, don't even pay her rent, and your daddy don't even like you. And they be talking mad junk, bro. Mad junk. The people that's the dustiest, they done been in jail. They probably done took another man's virginity, getting mouth and gawk 3,000 from somebody's son. And they be talking big junk, bro. I want to see people that's actually productive, that actually is a reflection of great people in the community. The dustiest people had emotions. You a sellout. You sold yourself out. Forget the community. You not even good to yourself. You a bad person to yourself. You a bad person all the way around. Man, I don't have no regard for these people. I don't have no regard for these people, bro. Can't hold their own family together, and they talking about holding a community together. What we gonna do for the community? You can't even keep your family together. You can't convince your girl to not take you to child. You couldn't convince your woman. She wasn't even your wife. You couldn't convince the woman that you had a child with to stay with you. Why should we listen to people that can't even hold their families together? So you can't hold your family together until your daughter or your son become an adult, but I'm supposed to listen to you? Dog, if you got a baby mama, you can't say nothing to me about nothing. If you want child support, you can't say nothing to me about nothing. If you have back child support, if you have a PPP loan, if you have a felony, and don't get me wrong, I know that people can change their lives. I know that you can't say nothing to me. Nothing, not one thing. Don't say nothing to me. Nothing. If you backdated on your rent, if you more than 5 days late on your rent, if you have a late fee, if you have credit card debt, if you more than 30 days late and you getting stuff, if you need somebody to fix your credit, you can't say nothing to me. Nothing, bro. Nothing. You got so much work to do. You should not even be commenting on the internet. You should turn your comments off and be focusing on listening instead of participating. You can't say nothing to me. How? How can you hold me accountable for what it is that I stand for, and you owe a white man, or you owe a white company, or you owe some CEO who's a board member of the company that you got your car financed through? You can't say nothing to me. You gotta talk, bro. Call General Motors. They're looking for your car. Call Volkswagen. They looking for your car. Call Kia. They looking for your car. Bro, everything you got is from somebody that you say is oppressing you. You rap in the neighborhood that your mama written in. You can't say nothing to me. Everything you got, you owe somebody else for. The bank make money off of you. The bank making interest off of you. You can't talk about the black community. You can't talk about nothing. Bro, you're not in the position to talk. You got so much to deal with, so much to do. You read at a 3rd grade level. You shouldn't be typing to me. You need AI assistance. Apple Intelligence is your friend. There's nothing that you should be saying to me about anything. Don't talk to me, bro. Don't talk to me. Shout out to Carrie. Don't talk to me. Mr. Flowers, Zion Flowers says, you used to be broke, Anton. Get off your high horse. You're right. I used to be broke, but guess what? When I was broke, I was quiet. No advice, no conversations, no opinion, no nothing. When I was broke, I was quiet. Quiet as a church mouse. I was thinking to myself, oh, they gonna learn one day though. When I prove it, when I get the results, I'm gonna be loud. I'm gonna be loud. That's the difference. You didn't hear from me when I was broke because I didn't have nothing to say. I didn't have time to talk. I was too busy trying to get it. I was hustling. I had to get myself together so that I could have. I wanted to join the conversation. Don't talk to me about what I used to be. You are. You are. Ain't no time to be talking. It's time to work. I ain't got no opinion. I ain't got no opinion. I gotta work. I gotta take care of business. What y'all doing? Y'all talk. Oh, nope. Gotta work. Ain't no money over there. Ain't no money. Listen, opinions and conversation are for people that are privileged. That is a privilege thing. That's a privilege thing. I don't know. So I'm gonna show them how to get out of poverty. I was quiet. You heard nothing from me. When I didn't have nothing, wasn't nothing to talk about. When I was in my mama's basement, I had to move back into my mama's basement. I said, well, looks like ain't nothing for me to say because I ain't got the results. I kept thinking to myself, man, we should do this, we should do that. I was like, well, you know what? How about I go ahead and do it myself first? It's called minding your business. Minding your business means everybody talking about what somebody else has, but if you knew how to do it, then how come you're not doing it yourself? It's like somebody telling you to invest in something, but they didn't. Well, why you ain't investing in it? It's a chapter in Rich Dad Poor Dad called Minding Your Business. You got to mind your business. If you don't have it, you can't give anybody else. That's why I be trying to understand, how are single women giving women advice on how to get married? Why are single men giving advice on how it is that you could be successfully married? Who are y'all qualifying as y'all sources? Who? Reggie Red says Fox News is paying you well, huh? Well, they certainly ain't paying you with the dusty ceiling that you got in your car. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. Listen, you don't. That's the thing. And we're gonna go ahead and get started with the show. That's the thing. I would never be worried about how much somebody else is getting paid if I'm not getting paid. I don't have time to worry about, man, do that. I wonder how much they paying him. I'm trying to figure out how much they gonna pay me. How much is my job paying me? What? I'm not keeping up with the rate of inflation. I need a raise. I need a raise. What do you mean they're not paying me? Bro, I cut checks. I cut checks. I do. I cut checks. Carrie just texted me. She in the chat right now. Carrie just texted me. You know what Carrie says? You know what Carrie said? Carrie said, Anton, I hate to interrupt your crash out on a live stream, but I might not be there tonight. Guess what? Carrie's check is the same every month, regardless of if she show up, if she don't show up. when she out late, when she hanging out with her kids, and then she jump on the live stream an hour early, guess what? Carrie's check is still there, same time every month, the same amount. How many checks you cutting? How many checks you cutting? I don't want to hear from nobody that don't have somebody else on the payroll. Your wife work for the man. Yo, your wife, you make your girl pay 50-50. You don't have no say so. You gotta ask the judge to see your kids on the weekend. Your wife answered to a whole nother man. What am I gonna listen to you for? Oh, 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 dog. Hold on. Let me turn this heat off. It's crazy in this joint today. Woo! It's gonna be a good show. Oh God. Carrie, am I lying or am I lying? Am I lying or am I lying? Oh, oh man, that is hilarious. Your wife gotta ask for a day off to spend time with her mother. Her mother. Your girlfriend's family is out of town. She gotta ask for time off. She gotta fly in the back of the plane next to the toilet in order to go see her family, bro. what you want me to do? You want me to argue with you? I can't argue with that. Your girl sitting in the back of the Frontier plane to go see her family. She thinking about leaving you, dog. every day she reevaluate her life because she's trying to figure out, is this something better? Because she didn't know that God had regulated her and that this is the sum total of her life. What am I talking about? Oh God. Y'all ready to get started with the show? We gonna get started with the show for real this time. Oh God. Demetrius Shaw says, "What up, Aunt Diddy? How long does it usually take to transition from entry level roles to middle and upper management?" Not long, actually. Not long. Once you get your foot in the door and you start participating, you just really gotta never stay at a job longer than 3 years. 3-4 years is when you should start getting the itch and you should start updating your LinkedIn, your resume, and then they're gonna always pay you to leave. So you don't have to wait to graduate past the job that you have before you get into the next position or somewhere else. They are, as long as you get the experience, you get the titles under your belt, it is what it is. Shout out to my girl Pink Pill says, "It doesn't matter what you say and do for the community. It'll never be enough if you have any critique." That's a fact. I love Pink. She lucky she told me that she was 50. What'd she say? 53? She looking good. I love Pink is lucky that she told me that she engaged. Um, cause I'm a respecter. I don't think she had the right experiences. I don't think she had the right experiences with a black man. I like her. I do. I like her feistiness. I like her feistiness. I like everything about her. I like her. I like her clavicles. Her hair be bouncing. I like her. I do. 51, 52 is in July. Okay, bet. If you ever don't get engaged or get unengaged, let me know. We got to have a conversation. 392Q says Verizon is cutting back on DEI. Now everybody's switching companies. Facts. James says, good afternoon, Anton. I hope you have a blessed day, brother. Everyone in the chat, I hope you ladies and gentlemen have a blessed day as well. Bag Chasers. Shout out to the Chasers. Pink says, doesn't, oh yeah, okay, I got that one. Thank you, Pink. I appreciate you too, babe. Hey, I like when your morning talks are positive. Take a week off work. I mean, I'm not taking a week off. Never. Don't let guys in the comments start our morning with a negative word. Much love, though. Never taking a week off. You can forget it. If your teeth are missing, you can't talk to me. Facts. Facts. If you trying to figure out why Walmart is raising their prices, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. You got bigger things to worry about. If you trying to figure out whether or not you're going to be able to afford Aldi this week, don't talk to me. 392Q says, black culture is funny. We are crying about the tornado destroying a corner store, Chinese spot liquor store, which is owned by different cultures, but they not helping with cleanup. Same people we spend money with. Quentin says, finder's fee. Facts. Shout out to my dog, Quentin. And Mika. AD is a blessing, and I'm forever. You see that? Ladies love AD. Shout out to my girl, Mika. Mika gonna be in Detroit soon. I'm not telling y'all the dates, though. James Reese says, what up, though? Long Way ENT says, if your car is more than 4 years old, you can't talk to me. AD is crazy. I don't care if it's 4 years old. I just want to make sure that you don't owe no money to the finance company and it's about to get repossessed. Renee says, people talking crap. It's Tuesday morning. Get to the bag. Hey, D, wish me happy birthday, Renee. I love you, baby girl. I love you, Renee. Y'all ready to get started with the show? Let's for real get started with the show. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications. Teach Hanley, thank you for sponsoring the show. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Yeah, I love pink. Look at Black Queen. Black Queen says you need to take off forever. Take off what? You need to worry about them edges. We got too much to work on before we tell somebody what to do. That's all I'm saying. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Anyways, first things first. Chicago's Brandon Johnson. Do we need to reset? Let's reset, y'all. Let's reset. Let's start over. Lord, bless us today. Bless us to be fruitful. Bless us to be fruitful in our conversation so that we can be absolutely, positively productive, conducive, helpful, and adding value into people's lives. Give us a fresh start for the day on Tuesday, May 20th, 2024, year of our Lord, 11:54 a.m. Eastern. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Y'all ready? Oh man. All right, y'all. We back on the scene. All right, y'all. Now, reset Brandon Johnson. Okay. Chicago's Brandon Johnson is being investigated for unfair hiring practices. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it, Chicago. And shout out to my girl Danny C out there putting in work.
A new clash between the White House and Chicago City Hall. Thanks for joining us. I'm Scott Schneider.
I'm Dawn Hasbrook. New pushback from Mayor Brandon Johnson as the feds dig into hiring practices. And tonight we are learning more about what the Justice Department plans to do next.
Terrence Lee joins us with the new details and new reaction.
The DOJ jumped on this quick. They sent the mayor a letter today. They're looking into whether he has been hiring people based on race. They point to this moment yesterday at a church in Woodlawn.
The deputy mayor is a black woman. The Department of Planning and Development is a black woman. Infrastructure deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief Operations Officer is a black man. Budget director is a black woman. Senior advisor is a black man. And I'm laying that out because when you ask how do we ensure that our people get a chance to grow their business, having people in my administration that will look out for the interest of everyone, and everyone means you have to look out for the interest of black folks.
They say if that is how he is making top picks, they want to see if the same thing is happening with lower level jobs too. The mayor's team pushed back, saying his administration looks like Chicago, and they share the breakdown: 34% black, 30% white, and 23% Hispanic. One of his most vocal critics weighed in this afternoon.
Literally just gave Donald Trump yet another political gift here to use against the city of Chicago with regards to his remarks. There's a way to show that we are supportive and inclusive in our hiring, in our opportunity, in our access throughout the city of Chicago. But now the mayor has made it possible for Donald Trump to zero in on us once again, to kick us once again.
City lawyers plan to go through that letter. Feds say they'll start pulling records and talking to staff. If they find discrimination, the city could face legal action or lose federal.
So they're putting at risk federal funding. And see, before I comment, I want to go and get the full context of the speech. So I did a little bit of digging, and I don't want to just automatically assume, because sometimes you get a small clip and that's the end of the conversation. So I decided that I wanted to get the full clip. Now, he was sitting in a church. I hate when I see politicians on a pulpit in church or giving a speech. It aggravates me to my soul, to my core. I'm not a fan of Brandon Johnson, but I said, you know what, Anton? Before we go and criticize the clip, before we go and say that whether or not he's right or wrong, before we actually speak on the investigation that is now happening against his administration, which could cause for them to lose federal funding for Chicago, let me go and get the full context and see what he has to say.
So when we say our people hire our people, I just want to name this. 2 administrations ago, 70 to 75% of the administration was primarily made up of white and white men. In my administration, 45% of my administration is black, 25% is Latina, 30% is white, 8% is Asian. It is the most diverse administration in the history of Chicago. And here's why I'm naming this, is because there are some detractors that will push back on me and say, you know, the only thing that the mayor talks about is the hiring of black people. No, what I'm saying is when you hire our people, we always look out for everybody else. We are the most generous people on the planet. I don't know too many cultures that have play cousins. That's how generous we are. We just make somebody a family member, right? That's just how we are. And so business and economic neighborhood development, the deputy mayor is a black woman. Department of Planning and Development is a black woman. Infrastructure deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief Operations Officer is a black man. Budget director is a black woman. Senior advisor is a black man. And I'm laying that out because when you ask how do we ensure that our people get a chance to grow their business, having people in my administration that will look out for the interest of everyone, and everyone means you have to look out for the interests of black folks because that hasn't happened. That's how we ensure long-term sustainable growth, because the BOA construction as a prime, now he has control of all of the subcontractors as well.
All right, so I got the full context, and now I feel comfortable speaking on it. because I didn't want to just speak on it in a vacuum. I wanted to speak on it and hear what he said at length. At no point did he say that he was hiring people that were the most qualified for the job. Now, if the majority of the people that applied and is the most qualified for the job just so happen to be black people or black women, or even if you gay or whatever, and I'm not an advocate for, two men being together, filling on each other, or two women that are scissor kicking. But if they not leading with that, how would we know that that's who they are in the first place? That has nothing to do with your ability to do the job. At no point, not one time in this entire speech, did he say that I hired the people that were the best for the city to do the job. Not one time. And this kind of hits near and dear to my heart because as a person that grew up in Detroit, which was the blackest city per capita in the United States of America, the blackest city, had incredible wealth. And we're doing incredible now. We had 2 years of population growth and multiple years of budget surpluses, and we growing, and there's a lot of construction and opportunity and stuff that's happening here. That came under the administration of a white man. That had a business background, who came from running hospital systems as a CEO of DMC and turned that around, and because of his reputation of building great business relationships while also understanding community dynamics, he put the best people in place for the jobs. Now, the majority of the people that he wound up hiring for the jobs, which included the police chief and things like that, they just so happen to be black. But their concern was doing the best for the community and doing the greatest job that they can with respect to the job, not based off of whether or not they were black or they were white. Had nothing to do with the conversation whatsoever. And I always try to take that into consideration. And the reason that is because I want the best for whatever it is that I'm doing. I don't care who it is that's bringing the best forward. I don't care. Mayor Mike Duggan, who is now about to run for governor of Michigan, and as of right now, I haven't seen any other candidates, is probably going to get my vote for governor of Michigan, has done a phenomenal job turning the city around since the 2008 bankruptcy that happened in the city. And he did it because he was not focused on identity. He was focused on how can I get people to buy in to do the best thing that's for the city and do the best thing on a job. Conversely, when I look at Chicago and the fact that they are facing billion-dollar budget deficits every single year, and he's more concerned about whether or not the woman is black that is over a certain planning committee, is crazy to me. That's crazy to me. They ain't even hiring based off of who best for the job. They're hiring based off of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that is the very thing that the Trump administration has said that you cannot do. You have to hire based off of merit, opportunity based off of merit, not based off of identity politics. What's next? They gonna hire people based off of their sexual orientation? How many bodies you got? We got to hire so many felons this time now? We going with that too? When does the separation and the identity politics stop playing a role in whether or not you hire the best person for the job? This is why you cannot hire school teachers or vote school teachers to become mayor of Chicago. Now, they facing another $1.14 billion budget deficit. Last year is $942 million. This year, $1.1 billion. Next year, $1.3 billion. Next year after that, they projecting for it to another be a $1 billion budget deficit. Your property taxes is going. How much more you want to pay in your property taxes because you got incompetent people that's running your city? Never said anything about qualifications. 100% of it was about identity. You're right. Yes, Jessel. I am scared. How come everybody that criticize, Yo, I don't see one person that's critical of me that got a profile picture. Everybody that's critical of me that's in the chat is usually they an orange J, a green A, a blue B. Nobody that criticizes me has actually got a profile picture. Oh, why? Are you scared? Are you a coward? You scared that somebody gonna find out that you got the fries cold and you didn't put them in the bag fast enough? Twisted Logic says there's no such thing as merit, never has been. Well, that would come from somebody that probably never been to college. They don't believe in merit. They don't believe in certifications. They don't believe in qualifications. They don't believe in work experience. They don't believe in any of that. That comes from people that says stuff and they believe that jailhouse lawyers should go ahead and get the bar. I see all of the, listen, if y'all don't know by now, chat lives matters. One of the things that we do over here on the Millionaire Morning Show is we interact with the chat. We love, the chat is the co-host of the show. They just made their account. Oh yeah, I got you. I get it. So usually they have an account and then they make a troll account because they don't want nobody to know who they are. I got you. So, Brandon Johnson is now under investigation for discrimination in his hiring practices, and it's a possibility that Chicago can get federal funding pulled. Y'all should be happy at y'all mayor. Congratulations. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's see what we got here. Let's read some of these super chats, and we're going to move over to the next part of the show. Dolores says, I love you, Mr. Anton. I love you too, Dolores. Shout out to you, D. Shout out to my girl, Dolores. Faith says, if your smoke detector is beeping, don't talk to me. Facts. Talk to him, Faith. Faith M says, if your girl wear a bonnet to work, don't talk to me. I like that. Don't talk to me. Not the edges. I'm on the edge thief is running rampant. I think that the devil didn't release the edge thief. So everybody got the baby hairs that come all the way down there. Courtney Egger Show says, what up, AD? This might be a Patreon question for a smaller content creator. As a smaller content creator, what are your thoughts and advice on getting brand deals being under 1K subscribers? Should that even be a focus? I wouldn't focus on it. I will be so focused on running up my visibility and becoming more visible, because then that's when the brands start coming to you. What kind of brand deal were y'all gonna be able to pitch somebody for 1,000 subscribers? I will be putting all of my energy on continuing to blow my brand up. Spaces says, woke up early this morning for no reason. I was about to go back to sleep, but it slapped me and said, this Anton ain't gonna keep outworking me. You was about to go back to sleep? Jack Covington says, the most famous quote from After Hours, she'll go. Oh, she going. I guarantee you she going. 100%. Listen, never put so much faith in your girl that she gonna stay loyal. Always got to keep your head on the swivel. That's how y'all get your hearts broke. That's how you get your heart broke, is that you think that she above the game. Nobody is above the game. Because she is until she ain't. Nobody is above the game, big dog. You should know that. You should know that. Nobody is above the game. Nobody. Love your AD. That's my girl. Shout out to Tia Marie. I love my Tia Marie. Nobody is above the game, bro. You say you bet she won't? I bet she would. See, I don't. When people say that, yeah, I bet you she would. I say, well, if you can get her, then get her. Somebody said that to me, I think like 2 or 3 months ago. I said, well, and if you can get her, then you can have her. Make sure you take every bill that go along with her. If you can get her, you got her. As for me, you can drop it right there. You can leave it right there. Thank you. The delivery package. If you can get her, she yours. She was never mine in the first place. Do your thing, big dog. Make sure you take everything that go along with her there. Do your thing. Do your thing. Listen, if you can get her, that's not a you problem. That's a her problem. That's a me problem. I'm not gonna hold you accountable for what you were successful at. That's your chick. I don't think you know what you're getting yourself into. Go ahead, Cletus. Let's see what you got. I don't think you know what you're getting yourself into. It's a lot that come along with it. If you can get her, you got her. Make sure you take everything that go along with her. She was never mine in the first place, if that's the truth. That's what I say. That's my rhetoric. I don't get mad at the game. The game is the game. Don't hate the players, hate the game. Facts, ABJ. The only thing that can keep a woman is if she want to be kept. That ain't up to me. That's between her and her God. Let's get over to the next part of the show. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Before we get to this Ryan Clark situation, we got to give you an update on Trump. All right? So, Trump was speaking on his tax bill, and then I also want to address really quickly his call with his call with Putin from Russia. Let's talk about it.
We took out 5.1 billion. If you take a look, 5.1 trillion with a T, not a B. 5.1 trillion out of the Middle East. They're investing more than that. It's going to be ultimately more than that. But 180 wide-body Boeing aircraft. They're spending money at levels that nobody's ever seen. Usually a president goes for a trip and he loses money. In other words, he gives money. We went for a trip and we took out $5.1 trillion. Nobody has ever seen anything like it, and that's just the beginning. So I think we're a very unified party. The Senate's doing great. John Thune is doing fantastically. He's a great guy, and we're going to have a bill, the one big beautiful bill. I think it's the biggest bill ever passed, and we got to get it done. Tremendous tax cuts for people, tremendous incentives, tremendous regulation cuts. All these regulations that are so horrible.
Are Republicans still grandstanding in your view?
Oh, yeah, sure. You have a couple who will grandstand, but I think even the grandstanders should. Look, the alternative is a 68% tax increase. And you can blame the Democrats for that and one or two grandstanders. We only have one or two, but we have tremendous support. But you'll have a 68% tax increase, or you'll get a massive tax decrease. You'll get a tax cut, the likes of which we've never had before. This is bigger than any Ronald Reagan
I wonder where he got that number from, 68% tax increase.
Tax cut. It's even bigger than the tax cut that I gave, because as you know, that's being extended and increased. So this is the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, or you'll get a 68% tax increase. And if that happens, I mean, what Republican could vote for that to happen? Because they wouldn't be a Republican much longer. They would be knocked out so fast. But we're going up to details. This is I'm a cheerleader for this party, and I'm a cheerleader for the country, much more importantly for the country. But I'm a cheerleader for the party, and we're going to go up, and I think we're going to have a very good discussion. There are one or two points that some people feel strongly about, but maybe not so strong.
On one of those points, do you consider some of the proposals on the table, like co-pay provider tax, as a benefit cut? How are you viewing those?
No, we are looking at one thing. We're not doing any cutting of anything meaningful. The only thing we're cutting is waste, fraud, and abuse. With Medicaid, waste, fraud, and abuse. There's tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. There's incompetent things putting. We have illegal aliens that are multiple killers with multiple murder records getting Medicaid. I don't think anybody minds if we cut that.
You got to be kidding me. Is that true?
The Democrats, on the other hand, are going to destroy it because they're going to leave these people on. We're cutting three things: waste, fraud, and abuse. We're not changing Medicaid, and we're not changing Medicare. and we're not changing Social Security. And if I wanted to do those things, I would have done it during my 4 years that we were.
Mr. President, what's your message to your fellow New Yorker Republicans who are hung up on the SALT issue?
Well, SALT is a very interesting thing because the governors of New York and Illinois, you know, the big JB who's going nowhere. Probably right now he could be the worst governor in the country. But Illinois and Gavin Newsom, those are the people that want this. And they're Democrat states. They're all Democrats.
Why do you still call him Governor Newsom? Oh, God. And I would definitively say that California has the worst governor in the United States of America. Followed closely by J.B. Pritzker in Illinois. 100%. I would say that those guys are two of the worst governors in the United States of America. I can't think of a worse governor than those two. I'm thinking about it. I'm seriously thinking about it right now. Are there worse governors than Gavin Newsom and J.B. Pritzker? Y'all tell me, do y'all think it's the worst governor out here than Gavin Newsom and J.B. Pritzker? I can't think of a worse governor than those two, honest to gosh.
Reagan tried very hard to get this passed, was unable to do it the way we have it.
Westmore?
Where basically everybody's treated equally. He tried it so hard and he never got it done. He was always disappointed. He never got it done. We got it done. Now people want to change it. So we're going to be talking about that. But the biggest beneficiary, if we do that, are governors from New York, Illinois, and California. And those governors are the ones that blew it because they weren't able to get it. So I think we're going to be explaining that these are all very blue states that I don't really believe. If we had honest elections, I don't actually believe. I think I would have won California. I would have won New York. I even think I would have won Illinois. I think we have to, you know, we're going to start this after. I was talking to Mike, and again, I'm his biggest fan. I love this guy. He's the only guy could have walked in with a one. Think of it. You can't be a guy like me and have a one majority. You have to be a guy like him, a nice person. He's very religious. He prays. He's a man of God. And so am I, but he's really to a new level, I will tell you. He is a great guy. They love him in Louisiana, and they love him in... That's the only kind of guy. Somebody said, oh, well, we want somebody that... If you put a certain personality in there, you would have never... Look at what he got passed. What he's gotten passed. And just so you understand, he's gotten this passed, too. And I don't think there's anybody I could give you guys that is so tough. You guys would run if you ever looked at them. If you ever saw some of these guys, you would not ask them questions you'd be afraid to. This guy did something that I don't think there's anybody that's more well-suited to be Speaker.
He is a pretty good leader in that he always praises the people that surround him that is successful, that do great things. Shout out to Trump. I think that this is the first time that we've seen solidarity in Congress to where we can actually solve for some things, get some investments done, take back some of the heavy and strict regulations that's preventing us from being able to generate a lot of revenue inside of the United States of America. Also, Department of Government Efficiency is still doing their job quietly. You don't even see anybody complaining about it anymore. Why? Because you don't have the figureheads at the forefront of it, but at the same time, you see so much still happening and they're still auditing the federal government, and they will be for at least a whole nother year. The one thing you don't see, though, is any Democrat doing anything responsible, productive, helpful. They are just on tour right now. The Democrats are taking 2 years off. Democrats are taking 2 years off. They ain't even tripping about it no more. They taking 2 years off. They slow motion. Anyways, let's go over to him speaking about his phone call. Trump got so much going on all the time. He is always working, always up. And the fact that he's this transparent in everything that he's doing is visible for people to see. I think that y'all need to appreciate that.
Do you have plans to give this award to any other families posthumously find themselves in the same position as having made this sacrifice? And then after the test, one question about your call today.
Having to do from previous? we're looking at the possibility of that. Yeah. You had a lot of people die in the line of duty when you think of it, and we figured it was time to start. We haven't had the situation arise. This was a terrible situation. We haven't had it arise yet, but we're looking at going back a little bit and see what we can do about that. Yes, strongly. Yeah, go ahead.
On your call with President Putin today, you'd mentioned that the Pope would like to take a role potentially in mediating these talks. Does that mean that the U.S. is taking a step back from...
No. I think it would be great to have it at the Vatican. Maybe it would have some extra significance. And I saw that it was discussed yesterday, so I thought... And people told me that they'd be honored to do it. I would imagine they would be. So, no, I think it would be maybe helpful. There's tremendous bitterness, anger, and I think maybe that could help some of that anger. So having it at the Vatican would be, in Rome, would be I think it would be a great idea. Thank you.
Mr. President, as you know,
go ahead.
Mr. President, as you know, 2.5 months ago, Ukraine President Zelensky agreed to that 30-day ceasefire that's been on the table all of that time. What was the extent of your conversation with President Putin today about having him agree to that same 30-day ceasefire proposal that you, Mr. President, put on the table?
Well, what we've done, and very strongly, is we said, let's get this thing going. You know, I had many of the leaders of European nations on the line with me right after the call, and we have to get that thing solved. 5,000 young people every single week on average. And I've seen satellite pictures. You don't want to see these pictures. We'll have to see what happens. This was not my war. This is not a war that would have happened if I were president. This is not my war. I'm just here to try and help. We've spent hundreds of billions of dollars on this war, and yet that's not, frankly, we made much more than that just in 4 days in the Middle East. It's a lot of money, but we do much. This is about thousands of people dying every single week. 5,000, 6,000 people dying every single week.
That's crazy.
And just like you have the relatives here, wives and children and everything, you have, these soldiers, they say goodbye in Ukraine and in Russia, and then their parents never see them again, except maybe in pictures of horrible scenes, because I've seen some scenes, I've never seen anything like it. So we're going to see if we can get it taken care of. Yeah, please.
First off, our thanks to the members of law enforcement who are here, and our condolences to the families. We're very sorry
people
for
that
loss.
validate and authorize
Mr. President, on
people that validate and authorize war while watching other people go and fight it. I don't know, man. To think that there's people that are profiting off of other people dying is just one of the most biggest crimes that you could ever possibly commit, in my opinion. To think that people are benefiting from other people dying and fighting a needless, senseless war that could have been prevented. If something could be prevented, but it's not, that's one of the worst things ever. One of the worst things ever. I just can't imagine it. I don't like it. The thought of it, people going to die. And see, we was looking at footage just a while ago of people getting snatched up over in Ukraine, and they running out of people. Ukraine running out of people. Russia's running out of people. People are fleeing, trying to figure out how they can escape war. They hiding. Famine is in the land. Destruction. Total, absolute destruction. All for two men trying to make sure that they solidify their power in the region. No matter what you say, no matter how you frame it, bro. This is two guys that got ego. And don't tell me about who started it. This ain't no playground. This is real. This goes all the way back to the mid-90s, early to mid-90s. You got two guys who have so much beef to where they are willing to sacrifice millions and millions of lives, to the point to where they're kidnapping people off the street that is walking their dog or walking down the street or walking to the grocery store and throwing them on the front lines in order to be killed. That's crazy to me, bro. I know God just be looking down on this earth like, look at these dummies. Look at these dummies. Koreans is over there dying for Russia. They don't even know what Russia stand for. Don't know nothing about Russia. Koreans is over there dying. Kim Jong-un is probably getting a healthy profit as a result of sacrificing his own people. Putin get his own people killed along with the Koreans. Ukrainians is up there dying on the front lines and getting kidnapped and thrown into war. It's so dumb, bro. It's such a needless, stupid thing.
On Ukraine and on your call today that you had with President Putin, you said last week that you thought nothing was going to happen, no advances would be made until you and Putin got together. Do you still feel that way?
I think something's going to happen. It's a got very big egos involved, I tell you. Big egos involved. But I think something's going to happen. And if it doesn't, I'd just back away and they're going to have to keep going. Again, this was a European situation. It should have remained a European situation. Should have remained. But we have, because the past administration felt very strongly that we should be involved, that we got involved much more than Europe did in terms of the money and all of the things that we gave. We gave massive amounts, I think record-setting amounts given to a foreign. There's never been anything like this, both weaponry and money. And Europe gave a lot also, but they didn't give anywhere near what we gave. We gave probably almost 3 times the amount. And it's just a shame. The whole thing is a shame.
Did you ask
the level of death here is just a shame. Yeah?
Did you ask President Putin to meet with you?
About what?
About Ukraine.
Of course I did. I talked to him about it. I said, when are we going to end this, Vladimir? I've known him for a long time now. I said, when are we going to end this bloodshed, this bloodbath? It's a bloodbath. And I do believe he wants to end it. You know, when I made the call, I told the people last night, I spoke to the heads of the different countries, Germany and Finland. We had Italy, as you know, and UK was on the line today, and a couple of others. And then they were in turn calling everyone. Ursula was there from the European Union. She was terrific. And we spoke for a long time about it. And they got a problem. It's a big, big problem. It's a terrible war. It's a very hard to extradite themselves away from what's taken place over there. The amount of anger, the amount of hate, and the amount of death. It's very hard, very tough situation. But I said to him, we got to get going. And I did say also, if I thought that you couldn't do it, I'd step away, because what are you going to do? We don't have boots on the ground. We wouldn't have boots on the ground. But we do have a big stake. And the financial amount that was put up is just crazy. It's crazy. This isn't.
I agree. And I'm ready for this whole thing to end, just for humanity's sake. It doesn't even affect me personally, outside of our tax dollars have for a long time been going into funding this thing. But just for humanity's sake, I just can't imagine going to die for another man that don't even care anything about me. Imagine your leader sending you over to Russia to fight people that you don't even know anything about, and they don't even care anything about you. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me see what we got here. It's sad. It's very, very sad. Let me read a couple of super chats and then we'll move over. Jason Sharp says, Troll Lives Matters. Jason says, what do you think American healthcare does? Profit over people dying and sickness. It's a huge business, and we let it happen. Isn't that crazy? It's choices, bro. It's choices. We all got choices, or we have the perception of choice. Before we get into this Ryan Clark and RG3 thing, I want to revisit a conversation that we had yesterday. And that conversation was based off of Biden. Trump chimed in and JD Vance chimed in with their opinion of what's going on with this whole Biden cancer diagnosis. Ms. Crotty Shetty, I will read that shortly. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. So, that can't be right.
do that. But if Russia's not willing to do that, then we're eventually just going to have to say, this is not our war. It's Joe Biden's war. It's Vladimir Putin's war. It's not our war. We're going to try to end it. But if we can't end it, we're eventually going to say, you know what, that was worth a try, but we're not doing it anymore.
Last question. Oh, no, you did.
Speaking of Joe Biden, sir, do you have any thoughts on his diagnosis?
Yeah, look, I mean, first of all, of course, we wish the best for the former president's health. And, you know, it sounds pretty serious, but hopefully he makes the right recovery. Like, I will say, whether the right time to have this conversation is now or at some point in the future, we really do need to be honest about whether the former president was capable of doing the job. And that's no, you know, that you can separate the desire for him to have the right health outcome with the recognition that whether it was doctors or whether there were staffers.
Whoever it is that did this video, they only got it coming through one link. Let me go ahead and spin this over. I want to get Trump's perspective, and let's see if we can mine this out a little bit more.
Do you want to respond to President Biden being diagnosed with cancer? Are you going to call your predecessor?
I think it's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, you know, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. I just had my physical. You saw that. You saw the results of that particular test. I think that test is standard to pretty much anybody getting a physical, good physical. We had the doctors at the White House and over at Walter Reed, which is a fantastic hospital. I do it. I did a very complete physical, including cognitive tests. I'm proud to announce I aced it. Got them all. I got them all right. You proud of me? Yes. Your husband would be proud of me for getting them all right. It's a little risk. If I didn't get them all right, these people would be after me. It would be not a good situation. But I think, frankly, anybody running for president should take a cognitive test. They say it's unconstitutional, but
stage 9 is, it was whatever. Hold on, let me find it out. It was stage 9 something. There's a lot of people think that he misspoke. He didn't. It's the Gleason score. The Gleason score of 9 is what they said. So this is what it means. It said his cancer has a Gleason score of 9, grade group 5, according to a spokesperson. But what does that mean? Here's what you should know. It says the Gleason score is a grading system for prostate cancer. According to the Cleveland Clinic, it usually ranges from a 6, which is low-grade cancer, to a 10, which is considered high-grade cancer. The lower on the scale, here, I'll pull up my screen for you guys so you can read along with it so that you'll understand exactly what it means. The lower the lower scale the cancer is, the more likely it will grow slowly. Scores are then slotted into grade groups ranging from grade 1 to 5, according to the American Cancer Society. This is a newer way to grade a patient's prostate cancer. Scores categorized as grade group 1 will most likely to grow and spread slowly, while grade group 5 is most likely to grow and spread quickly. Biden's cancer is characterized as having a Gleason score of grade 9, grade group 5, which means that the cells look very different from healthy cells and are likely to grow and spread more quickly. The Gleason score is determined through something similar to a point system. It uses 5 different grades or patterns to determine how much the cancer looks like normal prostate tissue. Cancer cells in the prostate that are assigned a grade of 1 look most like normal prostate tissue, but a grade 5 cells look very abnormal. So basically what this is saying is that Biden, his cancer is spreading quickly. His prostate tissue is incredibly abnormal. That this is a very, very, very advanced stage and grade, which should have been caught earlier and sooner, which was one of the reasons why Trump is using himself as an example to illustrate this is egregious and somebody needs to be held accountable for the fact that this was released so late, or this is just now being discovered. Allegedly, he doesn't believe that it's just now being discovered. The grades of the 2 most common patterns of cancer cells are added together to determine a Gleason score. For example, if the pathologist gives the cancer cells in the most common pattern a grade of 3 and the cancer cells in the most common pattern, a grade of 4, the Gleason score is 7. According to the Canadian Cancer Society, this is often written on a pathology report as 3 plus 4 equals 7 out of 10. People with scores of 6 or higher will then have their cancer categorized in the grade groups mentioned above. Is a high Gleason score bad? And again, this is according to USA Today. A high Gleason score is neither good nor bad. According to the Cleveland Clinic, the scoring system is mainly a method used by one's healthcare providers to determine how fast the prostate cancer might grow or are used to create a patient's treatment plan. Prostate cancer is usually found early, and it often grows slowly. Men diagnosed with prostate cancer will not die from it, according to the American Cancer Society. Is one of the most common types of cancer, according to the Mayo Clinic in 2025. The American Cancer Society estimates there will be around 313,000 new cases of prostate cancer, and 35,000 deaths will occur due to cancer. Around 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with cancer, while 1 in 44 men will die from it. It's crazy. That's crazy. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with cancer. What the heck is in our food, family? What is in our food? Yes, I do believe that he had this for years. I absolutely do believe that he had it for years. There's nothing that you can tell me that would lead me to believe that he didn't have it for years.
I would say in that particular case, having a cognitive test wouldn't be so bad. But when you take tests, medical, as a male, that test is very standard. I don't know if it's given to everybody, but it's given just about. And it takes a long time to get to that situation. Now, I think, to get to a stage 9, I think that if you take a look, it's the same doctor that said that Joe was cognitively fine. There was nothing wrong with him. Well, he said, if it's the same doctor, he said there was nothing wrong there, and that's being proven to be a sad situation. And the auto pen is becoming a very big deal. The auto pen is becoming a big deal because it seems like that maybe was the president who ever operated the auto pen. But when they say that that was not good, they also, you have to look and you have to say that the test was not so good either. In other words, there are things going on that the public wasn't informed. And I think somebody's going to have to speak to his doctor, if it's the same, or even if it's 2 separate doctors. Why wasn't the cognitive ability, why wasn't that discussed? And I think the doctor said he's just fine, and it's turned out that's not so. It's very dangerous. Look, this is no longer politically correct. This is dangerous for our country. Look at the mess we're in. You're talking about all these questions on Ukraine and Russia that would have never happened. As an example, if I were president, would have never happened. The other thing is you have to say, why did it take so long? I mean, this takes a long time. It can take years to get to this level of danger. So it's a very, very sad situation. I feel very badly about it. And I think people should try and find out what happened, because I'll tell you, I don't know if it had anything to do with the hospital. Walter Reed is really good. They're some of the best doctors I've ever seen. I don't even know if they were involved, but a doctor was involved in each case. Maybe it was the same doctor, and somebody is not telling the facts. That's a big problem.
First of all, we got to give Trump some credit for being a bigger man and not necessarily saying anything negative. I see that there's a lot of extreme people on the right side and the left side that has a lot to say negative about Biden, about this whole situation and his diagnosis. I personally will say, I don't think that we could even really hold Biden accountable for some of the stuff that has happened over the 4 years. I think that some you can hold him accountable for, other things you can't. But I don't even believe that he was a shell of himself. I think that he's been losing his mind and he's been out of it for a long time. I remember seeing a press conference, it was a press conference that he had in 2021. And it was the one where he was talking about Kamala Harris becoming the border czar. And he was sitting there and he was tired. And yeah, we're gonna, he had a pen in his hand. Got a kiddo over there. and she's gonna be the border czar, and she's gonna be the liaison. So, yeah. So we're gotta get everybody vaccinated. You gotta get vaccinated. What are you gonna do if you're not vaccinated? There's people dying out here, and you got so many lives being lost. And this is how he was talking. In 2021, that's how he was talking. Lives being lost. So, no, gotta change the narrative. We gotta do something about it. If we don't do something about it, then what does that say about us as a society? It's crazy. It's nothing. But Kamala Harris, she's gonna be the border czar. And listen, folks, I know Whoopi told me not to talk for a long time, but I'm not gonna talk for a long time, Whoopi. There's books coming out. I keep saying that I'm responsible. Listen, I could have beat Trump. I could have beat him. I could have beat Trump. And they asked me if my health was good. I told Trump during the debate, I could beat you in a full round of golf without even thinking about it. One with my hand tied behind my back. Here comes Jill Biden coming out. No. My husband's good. Not a big deal. We just thought that we could beat it. That's how Biden talks. That's literally how he talks. What was I saying? What was the question again? Okay, so I was fully capable of doing a job, and when we went to Camp David, and I was talking to Nancy, and I said, Nancy, do you think I should step down? And don't worry, I'm going to bed at 8 p.m. now. It doesn't matter if it's a world war. It doesn't matter about what's going on in Ukraine. 8 p.m. is the deadline for me to go to bed every night. And I'm just tired. I need some more rest. But I think I can do another 4 years. And we got to stop. We got to stop the oligarchy. We got to stop Trump. And I said, man, this guy ain't there. The world could see it. Did y'all see when he fell up them steps like 4 times back to back to back to back? And the same one, and he tripped, and then he tripped again, and he tripped again? I said, dog, no way. No way possible. Hold on. Y'all don't believe me. Let me see if I can find it. This guy is off. It's crazy. Look at this. I'm gonna pull this up. Now you tell me if this guy in 2021, he was much worse than 2024.
In El Salvador, Guatemala.
They don't have to wonder about, is that where the president is? When she speaks for me. When he do this, and this is a woman who ran the second largest Attorney General's office in America after the United States Attorney General in the state of California, and as but also also to deal with it now in terms of in country.
This dude is out of it. He was out of it back then. In 2021, he was out of it. She's most qualified in the country. And she has a record. Who is that over there? Kamala. She has a record of being successful. He had a full 10-hour day of sleep this day. I remember it. I remember when he had a full 10-hour day of sleep. And he came out here and he was still sleepy. She's capable. She can do it. She can do it. I'm telling you. This was 4 years ago. Let me pull this up. Watch this one. 4 years ago. Never had a chance. Never had a chance. And y'all was, yeah, Joe, we can get it. We get it. We could do it. Why y'all do that to him? Why did y'all do that to him? Why y'all let him embarrass himself on the national stage? Why did y'all let him do that to himself on the national stage? Never had a chance. I said it. I said this is elder abuse. I said this is elder abuse. This is nothing but elder abuse. Look at him next to the United States of America crest on the side of Air Force One, trying to get himself up and fix himself. Look at him. Look at him. This is no president. This was nobody that was in a position to be president of the United States of America. This is embarrassing. This is why world leaders never respected us, because he had handlers and people that was taking advantage of him. And I don't even blame it on him entirely. I don't blame it on him entirely. Look, hold on. This is his legacy. Boom. 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 Wipe your knees off. Grab both rails. Turn around. Salute. He not all there. He not all there. There's no way in the world you're going to tell me that he was all there. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And yes, they say, Rodney, that he got more votes than Obama. I'm not going for it. Somebody need to be investigated and prosecuted as a result of this. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I think that they did him dirty. I think people need to be investigated around him. Hey, Nikki says, no, Anton Biden was willing to throw the whole country away. Not if he not even all the way there. Not if he not all the way there. Listen, Nikki, respectfully. If you believe that Biden was the one that was running the White House and determining what was going to happen on a world stage, no way you're going to tell me that you believe that was what was happening. No way that you believe that was really happening, Nikki. Somebody said he pardoned his family. He had some sense. Do you really believe that he was the one? Come on, family. Y'all think that he was the one? Y'all don't think that Jill and all the rest of them was probably playing a huge role in what was going on inside of the White House? You don't think he had handlers? You see how Trump every day, every single day is speaking to the media, taking questions, interacting with people. You didn't see Biden. All you did see was, new announcement. Dun, dun, dun. Biden is pardoning everybody. Dr. Fauci, he's pardoning Hunter since 2014. All of this stuff. But what you think? That he came up with the idea himself? He didn't come up with the idea. Dog, they just had Jill Biden come out on The View to help him speak. Oh, he did this. No, he didn't. Do you remember the investigation that they said that he was actually, they don't know who actually signed his signature? It was stamped. I got to pull that up too, huh? Man, when you start to put together all of the questions, when you start to put together everything that's going on, right? Hold on, let me see something.
A report by the Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project claims that most of President Biden's official documents were signed using the same auto pen signature, which raises concerns about his mental acuity and whether he personally ordered the signing of key legal documents. The project shared examples of executive orders with the same signature, except for Biden's announcement of dropping out of the 2024 race, which showed a different signature. Critics, including Missouri's Attorney General Andrew Bailey,
When Trump said that it needs to be investigated whether or not Biden was the one that even signed or came up with the majority of some of this executive legislation before he wound up leaving, or executive orders before he wound up leaving office, I think that that's worth a conversation now. Y'all don't think that that's worth a conversation? Okay. All right. Listen, who am I to argue with people? You are the people. You're the ones that determine the course of action inside of the United States of America. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go on from there, because I can't believe that y'all sitting here having this conversation with me. Everything needs to be investigated. Everything. Hey, D, can you do a show on the benefits of a newly proposed MAGA accounts? Of the newly proposed MAGA accounts. What newly proposed MAGA accounts? Ms. Croti Shetty, you're going to have to update me on that one. I'm not familiar. Bro, you are diabolical, and I love it. Thanks for the edutainment. You welcome, James Reed. Stage 9 is insane. Did you not understand that I just said it was the Gleason score? Don't worry about it, Jerome. You'll get there. We're going to get you there, big dog. May take you a couple of extra grades, but you'll get there. I wouldn't wish death or illness on anyone. Me either. Me either. Johnny Tsunami says Joe Biden nonchalantly confessed to having cancer at a Delaware press conference in 2022. Pink Pill says it was absolutely diabolical how the Democrats thought all of us were so stupid. They lied and lied and lied. And the other things radicalized me. They did that. No one else. Talk to them. They lied the whole time. We all seen it. Drive the wave, says Cam Combe. Shout out to my dog Cam Combe. I appreciate you. Turtle Island says Jill was the real VP when Biden was president. I wonder, man, I wish we could really get us behind the scenes what was happening during the White House. That was the most tumultuous 4 years that we ever experienced in our life. All right, y'all, let's get into the white versus black conversation. I know what my people want. I know what my people want. They want racism. I'll read that super chat shortly. My people want racism. There's nothing more engaging for our people than a good old black and white conversation. A good old black and white conversation about racism. White people are the devil. Black people are the devil. And we got to make sure that we have a good conversation, because I don't like these white people and I don't like the black people, and I got to figure out if somebody is hating on me or if it's systematic oppression. Why are they switching out black statues? Why are they covering up Black Lives Matters? Why are we not addressing the elephant in the room as for all of these people? And I know that there's some sellout blacks out here, and there's some sellout whites that keep on apologizing to black people. We're not going to keep it going unless y'all really want to get into it. They love them some good old racism. Good old racism. Europeans versus Africans. Okay? So let's talk about it, y'all. So how did that get switched around? What the heck is going on out here in these streets? All right, let's flip it for a second. Yeah. Good old racism. All right, let's talk about it. So first, let's go over to Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark is a host on multiple different radio shows and TV segments. And in addition to that, he's on the pivot. So he had something to say about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark on court, hard foul, people analyzing it. Angel Reese came through and said it was a basketball play, whatever, right? But the fact that you have a white woman, really stepping up and taking over and carrying the WNBA on its back, so much so to where she's actually benefiting black players and getting them a bag and getting them rich. Now you got all of these people coming out the woodwork, and it's mainly just black people having a conversation about it. You don't really see white people. I've seen some white people. I'll do some review videos later on today of white people being apologists. I can't believe it. I don't like it. This is Ryan Clark's take on RG3, which is a former football player who's married to a white wife. This was his take on the whole situation.
Freddie T, man, another exciting year. The WNBA started.
Think it was at it, right? Arm down by.
I don't want to get to Ryan
It was
Clark's
like
point.
from
So long. I think I hate the fact that they're always pinned against one another. RG3 called what Angel Reese did hate. He said you could see the hate on her face for Caitlin Clark. I'm not really sure when we moved in to being able to read the expressions of a person and know their intent, know their character, know their perspective. But he does understand hate because I think he also understands the hate of self. When you look at the play, which is all we can speak to as professionals, all we can speak to as analysts, Angel Reese pushed one of her teammates. Caitlin Clark had a hard foul, which is part of basketball. I feel like it was assessed correctly. And Angel Reese's reaction is the sort of reaction you get in a situation when you feel like you took an intentionally hard foul. That's competitiveness. That's rivalry. That's not hate. And so now, though, when RG3 jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train, and now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy, as they poured on to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Caitlin Clark's heroic or hero story.
Right.
The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what black women have to endure in this.
And that's the minute that he crossed the line. Let's continue.
Country, about what young black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlin Clark's rise and ascension into stardom. Now, when you look at it, I think A'ja Wilson is the face of the league. A'ja Wilson is the best player in the league. Caitlin Clark is the most important player in the WNBA. And a ton of her fandom has come along with some racial bias or some racial pieces to why people love her so much. And so now if you're RG3, when is the last time within your household you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with?
Why is it important for RG3? And this is the crux of the argument, because there's nothing wrong with hating the opposite team that you're playing against. That's just a part of sports. It happens in football. It happens in soccer. It happens in basketball. It happens in baseball. I mean, they literally fight in hockey. They knock each other's teeth out in hockey. Hit somebody with a dinger at home plate, the pitcher hitting the batter at home plate over in baseball, and see don't the whole dugout come out. Fisticuffs. Ain't nobody tripping about that. Nobody trips when everybody drops. If y'all ever been to a hockey game, it's one of the most exhilarating sports that you can get an up-close seat to, and it don't even cost a lot of money, and people are engaged. They drop them gloves, and the people be like, yeah, and they start knuckling up, and nobody bats an eye. They play it on ESPN, and it's not even a big deal. Play it on ESPN, and it's not even a big deal. It's okay to hate the rival team. It's okay. It's good for sports. It shows competition. One of the things that I've seen people argue about when it comes to sports, especially the NBA in particular, is they hate the fact that everybody had become buddy-buddy. They liked when Jordan said, you know what, when that basketball go up in the air, you my enemy. Barry Bird, Magic Johnson, Showtime Lakers versus the Boston Celtics. Hard playing in Boston, hard playing in LA, right? Rivalries, Pistons, Bulls. It's the truth. It's called competitive sports. It's beneficial for the ratings, and it makes people more engaged to root for their teams. This is not anything out of the ordinary. But the minute that you start to inject a little bit of box in there, can we be frank? Permission to be frank from the audience today, please. The minute that you inject a little bit of pussy in there, push, push, push. The minute that you inject a little bit of box, a little bit of scissor kicking, we know that it's a lot of those women that like to sleep with each other inside of the locker rooms. It happens all the way from high school through college up to the WNBA. The minute that you inject a little bit of femininity in there, all of a sudden it's a problem. All of a sudden it's a problem. When did it become a problem? When did it become a problem? I thought that when I seen Reggie Miller talking big smack to Spike Lee on the side of the sidelines when he was killing the Knicks, and they talk smack. Have y'all ever been courtside at a game? Let me tell you something. You know who the biggest trash talker is? Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant will call you a bitch to your face on the sidelines. And will tell the referee, because, you know, the referee and them, they be trying to get you called as security, get this person. Kevin Durant will tell us, hey, no, they fans, let them rock out. I got to give Kevin Durant, I've never been cussed out by anybody. Well, no, I'll take that back. Boogie Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins cussed me out pretty bad. I cussed him out pretty bad, too, and I was right. I predicted that he wouldn't be in the league next year, and so he had to play his heart out and stop crying, right? But they will draw back and forth with you. I told Kevin Durant, I said, man, stop crying on my court. He said, shut the fuck up. I'm like, I said, he put a little bit too much on that. He put a little bit too much on that F right there. Caught me off guard for a minute. I said, I ain't never been cussed out like this. Now, in his defense, that was him before Boogie Cousins. He said, man, shut the fuck up. I said, He put a little bit of extra F on that F. He put a little bit of extra on that F. He'd come over and give you that before halftime, too. He ain't even tripping. That's the way of the game. That's just the way that it goes. It's competitive sports. And you know what the standing rule is? You know why they're able to do that? You know why you're able to do that on the court? The standing rule is this. Keep it basketball, even for the fans. Oh, man, I don't like you. I hope he missed. Boo. You not even good. Oh, man, you going 0 for 4. Hey, don't get him the ball over there. Keep it open over there. And Rick Carlisle actually came up to me and was like, man, I'm glad that this was last year. This wasn't this year. He said, man, I'm glad that you actually engage, man. Sometimes these guys don't get up to play. And so, you know, they look for that motivation inside of the arena. That's what he said. Rick Carlisle came up and said, man, I'm glad that you engage. These guys act like they don't want to play sometimes. The coach of Indiana. That's what it is. It's, you boo, showing off, show to the fans, man. That's why I beat your team. Get back in that locker room. Y'all go home. They kiss the ground goodbye. They hit the 3-pointer. Do this, all of that. It's fun. Now all of a sudden we inject a little bit of female in there, finally start to get some visibility, and they want to calm it down and make it a racial thing. You know, how come you're not going home and having conversations with your white wife about the things that black women have gone through in order for them to survive in this league? And then y'all tell me, which I don't know how true this is, and then y'all tell me that he got a white baby mama. Took me out. I didn't know that Ryan Clark had a white baby mama.
You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women. You haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what Black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, his wife is in the back amening and clapping. And so to me, it's just another situation that now this young lady has to deal with. When I worked with RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin, as if the color of her skin is what makes her special, as if the color of her skin is what makes her a good wife. I've met the lady, I've had a conversation with her. Right. I think she's more than that. But it also leads to what Black women deal with.
So I said he got a white wife and a black wife and a white baby mama. Okay.
From Black men.
I think that people should be able to date whoever they want to date. I just think that they should.
Chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop
I don't see
up
no ring on his finger. Y'all sure that Ryan Clark is Ryan Clark married?
the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over Black women by denigrating Black women. I feel like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand that
he is married.
Angel
married
Reese can be great in her own right, as Caitlin Clark is as well. Caitlin Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the Black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. So there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypical tropes. And I think this is what I'd like RG3 to know, that no matter how much he continues to echo the microaggressions of racists, he'll be no less Black than me.
All right, so that was Ryan Clark's perspective. I'm going to tell you and show you what RG3's response was to it. This is what he had to say.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy RG3, and I just wanted to get on here and talk to you guys because there's been a lot of buzz, a lot of conversations about my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, which was purely based in basketball. But I think all of you know there's a line in life that you just simply don't cross. Wives and children are always off limits, and Ryan Clark has sprinted past that line. Ryan Clark didn't like my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. And that's fine. It's okay. It's part of the game. Sports media, I'm going to have an opinion. This person might not agree with it. That person might not agree with it. But what you don't do is turn around and personally attack me and my family.
Facts.
Just because you don't agree with a sports opinion that is purely based off the sport. I didn't make it personal. But what that really shows is just how low of a person Ryan Clark is. So if you don't know, I gave a sports opinion stating that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. And I based it purely off of her actions on the court and in press conferences. It wasn't just because of the hard flagrant foul in their opening game. I gave 5 examples that showcased Angel Reese's dislike for Caitlin Clark. Because that's what I do. My job is to analyze sports. But I always make sure that I stay inside of the arena. I think this has to be said because a lot of what Ryan Clark said was so racially based, it was uncomfortable. Just because Angel Reese is a Black woman doesn't mean that a Black man or a Black woman who happens to be an analyst can't give their opinion on her game. Just because Angel Reese is a Black woman doesn't mean that a Black man or a Black woman cannot critique her game. To be quite frank, a Black man or a Black woman can critique anybody's game just the same as a white man or a white woman can critique anybody's game. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, regardless of the color of skin that somebody is. And if you don't like that opinion, that's fine. But it shouldn't resort to personal attacks. I just believe we got to be better in this space, man. Debate the game. That's fine. Debate the game. But don't play with people's families.
I don't see, now, if you go over to, shout out to all of my Black people, because if you go over to RG3's comments, you can see the racists in the comments. I couldn't believe the people that don't subscribe, don't watch RG3's podcast, don't subscribe to his channel, ain't checking for him, how they all of a sudden all appeared inside of his comments to basically say that they stand with Ryan Clark and what he said about his white wife. This is what I will tell you, and we are going to continue this conversation on After Hours tonight. I believe that people, black people, y'all really need to do some healing, honest to God. And I say y'all need to do some healing because I have no hate in my heart, no dislike, no disposition towards anybody and anything that does not look like me, that is not gendered like me, that don't walk the walk that I talk, and that is not from where I'm from. I don't care where you from, as long as you're doing it illegally. I don't care what your gender is. If you advocate for equal, that's how we gonna hold you accountable. I don't care whether you black or white. If you are a good person, that is what I rock with. I don't really know what else there is to say. There are so many hateful black people that don't even watch sports, but somehow started to insert themselves into the conversation about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. I ain't never seen so many women that don't even go to it. They ain't never been to a game unless a man took them to a sports game, let alone a WNBA game. Don't own a WNBA jersey. Can't even tell you who the starting five is for whoever the team is that they next to. You finally got somebody that can create some level of marketing and rivalry, and it's a basketball play. And the funny thing about it is that I've seen Caitlin Clark, and I was in disagreement with Caitlin Clark when she started basically being a white apologist to black people last year at her award ceremony. She was giving props to black people. And they can't wait to hate her. They can't wait to go against her. They can't wait to say something negative about her. And it's funny because the very people that have the most to say don't even respect women at all, let alone black women. They not marrying you. They gonna dog you. They think that you trash. And they regret having children with you. And then they'll sit there and say that they think that they are better than you or they can hold you accountable. They will anticipate, try to analyze. Somehow they think that they got more information than you. Let me tell you how racist black people are. Let me tell you how segregated they are, even against themselves. I say my mother is from Detroit. Her mother is actually here from Detroit also. My father is from Dawson, Georgia. His father and his grandfather is from Dawson, Georgia. And the only thing that they could try to say, because they can't say anything about the fact that I didn't marry a black woman. They can't say anything about the fact that my daughter's not black. They can't say anything about the fact that the majority of the people that work for me are women and they are black. And it's not because they are black and they women. It's because they were the best people for the job. They can't say anything about what I do for my community. They can't say that I ever left my hood or I left Detroit. They can't say anything, so they'll say something. They'll make up something. Hey, man, he not from here. He wasn't born in America. He must be a tether. That's how segregated and evil black. They will even make up a story in which I don't care. I could care less because I know who I am, and so I'm not going to argue with you about it. But they will make up a rumor. They will tell you that you got an inheritance, that you are, because they have to figure out something to try to tear you down, and they don't even like themselves. You don't even like yourself. You don't like nothing about you. You don't like nothing about yourself. It's crazy. Anybody that disagrees with you automatically becomes something of an evil, some name, some animal. Why does the tether talk ABJ's wise piss you off so much? Why does that make you angry? It should never make you angry. First of all, it's not applicable. So if somebody says, well, they must be broke, why would I get upset at it when I got a crazy amount of money inside of my assets, my portfolio, and it just means that they can't debate the argument. It means that they can't stand on anything to say. They can't reasonably justify why they think what they think. And so that's what people that have a low vibration resort to doing. They just only throw insults. You can't be offended by something that's not true. And even if it was true, it doesn't make your situation, which is not true, but even if it was true, it doesn't make your situation any more, any better, or any worse. You still got to go home with yourself. Think about it like this, bro. Most of these people that say that, let me remove this off my screen. Most of the people that will say that, they are speaking from somebody that gave that and put that inside of their mind. Somebody made up that term recently, and they validate and they carry themselves by something. It's the same thing as how you're defined as black. When they said that you only need 10, 13%, whatever the percentage is of this amount in your blood in order to be considered black, and that you shouldn't even acknowledge any other side of your family if you got a white mother or whatever, so on and so forth. They're the same ones that still carry themselves by a standard that was created in order to marginalize them. That's the standard by which they define themselves by. They took a term that somebody else on the internet created for them, and that's how they define themselves. That's how much a follower mentality and inability to think for themselves that they have. And I'll do you something else. I'll do you one better. It's all they have, so they hold on to it for dear life. It's all they got. It's all they have. The reason why they're so gung-ho about holding on to this thing, and they type hard in the chat, and they gather together, and they call in with each other, it's the only thing that they have left. Nothing else to look forward to. It's all they got. What else do they have? Net worth in the dump. Repo man coming. Don't own their own home. Have to work for somebody that they don't even like, that they racist against. Getting fired by their job. Don't talk too loud. That's why they got to create an alias. Can't even truly be themselves in real life. Scared to really show their face because they know that they're going to get fired from their job. It's all they in the shadows. They hiding. I consider racist black people on the same plane as poor white people that are racist also. They have no power. No power. And they both try to scare each other because they don't feel adequate enough to be themselves. And so they need somebody to give them a level of validation. And that's why they join groups of people that spew hatred. Have you ever been to a place where there's poor white meth head white people? It's the most miserable thing that you can say. Okay, y'all go ahead and form y'all. What's y'all name? The KKK new generation? All right, I'm going to let y'all have that. It's like a bunch of kids in a sandlot. I don't care nothing about them. They don't even have they can't even control their own fate. They got to depend on my tax dollars in order to survive. It's all they have. It's the only thing that they can look forward to. They don't have no more. The internet getting cut off. They can't play Call of Duty no more. What you want me to be mad at you? You broke. You poor. You poor. I don't look at racist white people and say, oh my God, I can't believe they said it to me. I look at them and say, what a miserable person. And look at this idiot. No teeth. Look at his old lady. His old lady, her hair is frazzled. She ain't got no edges. She stink. Why would I be offended at that? It's the same thing with black people that are racist. It's all they got. They hold on to it for dear life. They kill each other. They murder each other. They steal from each other. And then they come together when it comes to making sure that you gather against white people. Not coming together to get no money. Not coming together to practice group economics. Not to educate each other. To kill each other. And then, oh, wait. But we're going to band together against that white person over there. Let them eat themselves. Why are y'all playing in the mud with these racist people? Somebody said, how do you steal the internet? By getting on somebody else's Wi-Fi because you ain't got no Wi-Fi yourself. Still getting on your neighbor's unsecure Wi-Fi. Let them eat each other. Let them eat each other. What are y'all stopping them for? You keep winning. Keep winning. Are we above 16,000 bag chasers yet? Approaching 17,000 bag chasers? Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat, man. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Let's just leave it there. Y'all still trying to convince these people to get on board. Hey, you shouldn't be racist. Get yourself together. It's always better when you don't be racist because you're limiting yourself for opportunities for people that you can learn from and do business with. And there's some good people out here in the world that may not necessarily look like you. Fuck that. Man, fuck these white people, man. I don't care nothing about them. I wish they would. Why would a white person that's of any substance want to come to your hood to visit you? Nobody wants to come to the zoo. If they want to go to the zoo, then they'll pay extra money. Why would I want to go there? Fuck these white people. I don't care nothing about them. I wish they would. We gonna war against them. Okay, big dog, you got it. You won. Just tell them that. Anytime somebody got something to say negative, you know what? You got it. You won. You got it, bro. You got it. Facts. Facts. And just walk away. Get in your car, drive away before they rob you too. Just keep winning. Keep winning, living that good life. Stop trying to play with the pigs. Never cast your pearl amongst swine. Never. I think that's enough for today. All right. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Yeah, that's enough for today. Got work to do so that I can go and catch a flight tomorrow morning. And then we gonna, for Axe Springfield, and then we gonna, tomorrow we live streaming in the afternoon for those of you. Jason Statham says, think she meant the MAGA baby savings account. I ain't never heard of it. Y'all got to send that to me. Sharik says, I believe that poor man was tired from chemo and all those wicked people, including his wife, hid the entire situation in order to take over our country. I believe that too. Young Reckless says, AD, will you please tell boys to quit shaming childless men into being step crash dummies? Not our problem. Tell their dads to step up and leave us alone. You tell them. I don't have no problem with boys. Me and boys, we got a truce. We had a truce together. MAGA accounts are like a complement or alternative to 529 plans being proposed in the big, beautiful bill. Still tentative. They voted for Biden, the most racist president. I don't even think that Biden was in there. I don't think that was Biden at all. Anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. You guys are the greatest ever. All right. Afternoon show tomorrow. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.